Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome back to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and in the studio with me today, I have my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Miss Daphne Lynn.
Hello, Ashton Lewis. How are you today?
I'm absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good.
It's, well, like I always say, it's good to be here in the studio. I love being here doing this type of work and really sharing this information with others. I always say that, and it's so true. And I know you have such a joy in it as well. So just being here is really nice, you know.
It does, and I love doing it because the knowledge is getting out there about these experiences that people are having. It is coming into the media on many levels and platforms. And the more people that can raise their consciousness, to raise their vibration, to learn what is actually happening on the other side from these experiences, and not through indoctrinations, not through any kind of teachings of man-made stuff, but this is actually stuff that has happened to people and experienced and is real. And I'm so glad and so happy to be able to share these experiences with others. I mean, it really brings me a lot of joy.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
We need more people to really just get this word out there.
Yeah.
Because the more people that know about it can raise their consciousness.
Well, for those of you who are new, welcome to the show. We are the NDE World Podcast. And for more information, feel free to go over to our website. That's NDE.world. And we have plenty of information in all of our podcasts and episodes and things like that. So feel free to go check that out.
Suggestion boxes, comment boxes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you guys. And so we're going to jump right into today's topic. What we do and are doing and continue to do, depending on how it goes, is we're actually posting different questions on Facebook and just really getting group participation from people who actually have experienced, these different things that we're into,
Filling in the spaces between scheduling our guest appearances.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm so looking forward to some of the ones we got coming up.
Me too. So anyway, today's question, okay, we're going to go into it, and I'm going to go ahead and ask the question that I had actually posted, and Daphne's going to go ahead and maybe, if you don't mind, maybe share some of the responses and some of the ones that we really like, and we'll keep all the names incognito. We won't be saying
right.
We're just gonna. It's just comments,
Right.
and then we'll just kind of free flow and we'll kind of comment on their comments. How's that sound?
That sounds perfect. And I love this because this is straight from the NDEers themselves.
Right. So this is another part we're going to be incorporating into our podcast and kind of see how everything goes. So anyway, the question is, how many of you used to be Christian but no longer share the Christian view of life, God, and the afterlife since having your NDE? What has changed and why? And we actually had 136 responses on that particular question. So again...
And 5 shares. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely, yeah. I noticed that. So again, how many of you used to be Christian but no longer share the Christian view of life, God, and the afterlife since having your NDE? What has changed and why? So notice the question is targeted to people who have actually had a certain belief system, per se Christian in this particular example, but they have actually had a real life supernatural phenomenon that maybe had affected that. Some maybe has strengthened that Christian view. Some come back with a whole totally different view, and we're going to kind of really look into the responses we got from that. So Daphne, if you just want to take it and, whatever you think, feel free to go ahead and share that with us, and we'll look into it.
Yeah. I'm going to just use the first one I see right here. It says, before NDE, I had religion. After NDE, I found a relationship with the Father. Religion is a set of rules you can't follow because you are not perfect. Relationship is love and intimacy with the Father who loves you unconditionally. So, that's one of the top ones right there. It's true. You do have to find that relationship with Source, with the Father. It's not like he just said, a set of rules that you have to live by and can't follow.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of feeling, just to throw in there, and I'm guilty of it as well, Daphne, because it is part of my conditioning and upbringing. And I hear it a lot. I just heard it just now, even in your comment. When I woke up this morning, I was meditating, and for some reason, the Abba Amma,
Father, Mother.
I'm trying to get a really good, deep understanding, because so many of us have shut out our mother, the mother of creation, that part of it, So the source, what we call God, the all, that spirit is really the mother father spirit. It is the masculine,
it's masculine
feminine,
and feminine. Yeah.
So just kind of maybe throw that in there, a little
Yeah.
thing. Just kind of crossed my mind.
Oh, most definitely. It's very true, very true. But we because of our indoctrinations, our teachings, we have shut the mother out. And from most of these NDEers, they come back saying that source, that God energy, is masculine and feminine. And I like one of our recent episodes, the guy was sharing his experience, and he said that the energy was both, but yet he referred to that source as he, right, in the masculine. Yeah, so maybe it's just the way we totally relate to
it is.
Just from our indoctrination still.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable. Cool. Me as well, guilty as charged, So.
Oh yeah, me too.
So, so that was a really good response there. Now, let me share one here that I think is pretty cool. And we'll just kind of throw back and forth and see, just kind of go over. My dad was the one with the NDE. However, as a Christian all of my life, I'm 53 now, I've had a change of heart in the last few years. I now say I'm spiritual, not religious. I believe in a God, but not necessarily the Christian God I grew up knowing.
Oh, let me stop you right there, please. Because that is the same way I feel after learning about these NDEs. I don't believe in the God of the Bible anymore because it's a punishing God. And like these people, they're changing their minds. And it's amazing to learn these experiencers' points on that. And I'm sorry, please go ahead with your
That's okay.
Your
that's
comment.
Okay. Just keep in mind that the God of the Bible has been personified for humans to be able to understand.
Religion
it's
is
not
a
really good
man-made
reflection
concept
of what we call what really God is.
Right.
But, and without getting off subject, God is a word that we use to describe the source, and it is both masculine and feminine. It's not a person or an individual. It's all things. It can be anything it needs to be.
Right.
But the rest of that comment, he says that I believe in a God, but not necessarily the Christian God I grew up knowing. I say this because most of the NDEs that I read about go along with this, at least in my opinion. I feel like they use words like source, light, spirit, and of course, love is the main part of the majority of the NDEers. I do feel that a higher power has been there for me. A higher power creates a beautiful world, etc. This belief is new to me, and I do struggle at times, but I'm not afraid of death anymore.
Exactly. And that's another thing with learning about these NDEs. NDEers experiences is it releases that fear, and the Bible pushes you to serve God out of fear so you don't get punished. Now, are you really serving the God that of the Bible because you really want to, or are you doing it because you don't want to be punished in hell?
Yeah,
I mean, really, it's just
many
something
love
to question
God because they
about.
love Him. You know, they do. There are many, many sincere souls out there. You know,
There is, yeah.
you know,
But there's those that-
but you got to be careful of, like you said, the fear-based driven religions,
Exactly.
because there are any religion that uses a fear-driven tactic and associates that to God is really a dark force. It's a dark energy. It's a dark, and it can even appear as light. Say, for example, a lot of your mainstream religions, we got like, say, for example, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, how they are the only way, and they've created their own God that you can only go through their God, the Watchtower, which they've renamed Jehovah.
But aren't most all religions saying the same thing? Catholicism says we are the only way.
They are.
Christianity says Jesus is the only way. I mean,
right, and
it's all the same thing.
And these are all they are, and none of them are even close to the real source.
Exactly. And I'm looking out at these comments right here, and it so ties in with what we're talking about right now. This person said religion is a man-made concept.
It's true.
Plain and simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here's a good one right here. I like this. I was a Christian all of my life. I believed that Jesus was the only way to heaven.
Yep.
I had an NDE in 2011. It triggered a spiritual awakening that progressively happened from about that time on up until 2020, when I had a massive shift in consciousness and started having spirit interactions, hearing and spirit seeing going up into various states of consciousness. It changed everything as spirit taught me truth, and that truth did not involve Jesus being my Savior. He is more of a teacher, a master, and he accomplished complete awakening and ascension. Jesus was not in my NDE. You can click on my name and da-da-da. Okay, I'll take that out there.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, reading this comment and seeing the name on this is one of the ladies we've been talking to.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So how's that going?
it's going good. We've still been chatting back and forth, kind of getting to know each other a little bit, because we like to get to know our guests ahead of time and just be comfortable with everything. So that way, when we get ready to do our episodes, it flows really good, and it's going really good so far. And she's got a lot of experiences, should I say, that are just amazing. And I like what she said about that, about Jesus. So yeah, she no longer believes in that way as well.
Right, and that's the challenge, and and it's, we don't want to get on a Jesus bashing spree, because we don't do that here.
No, of course not.
But I do see Christians bashing that a lot. That either you accept what we say, or you're doomed to be tortured and burn in hell. I see memes being popped up everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I saw one recently. If you're not going to burn in hell for drinking, or you're not going to burn in hell for smoking, or tattoos, or all these things, it just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, it says you're going to burn in hell because you didn't accept Jesus as your Savior.
Dear God. And when I heard that, I cringed, and when you really think about that, but that is the mindset of a Christian, okay?
Yeah.
Not a true enlightened soul, but a Christian, and Christians do that. I mean, I know Christians personally that carry guns, and
Bible says don't kill.
are ready to will kill you in a heartbeat. Well, why are you carrying a gun if you're a Christian? So people have gotten disillusioned on what a Christian really is, and today's modern day Christianity has got nothing to do with reality. They've taken a man who, if you want to properly look at this person, he's our brother. He is our big brother. Yeah. He's known as, God's first begotten, not only begotten. When you start going in there and you start understanding and really looking into how the stuff was actually tampered with and turned into, and how they actually created Jesus and turned him into a God.
Yeah, that's through the councils in the 300s.
Sure,
Yeah,
300s
look
and
those up
400s
if you
and
wanna
500s.
know.
Yeah, the
It's
Council
not-
of Nicaea, the Council of Carthage, the Council of Hippo.
Yeah.
All of these have created the world that you know, the Bible that you know, the God that you worship. That's not even a real God. Jesus is not a God.
Right, right. And tying this in with that, this one person says, I was raised Catholic, but have always been very spiritual and tolerant of every religion or lack thereof.
That's the way you should be.
This is the point to this. Good is good, bad is bad. Religion matters not. And that's what we hear so much. There is not religion per se on the other side. It's love. It's be kind, do good.
Yeah, so a loving thing, if you had love like the real Jesus taught, you would be loving your fellow man. You wouldn't be trying to post up memes, trying to condemn people that, they're going to torture, because they might have had, 2 years of an experience that didn't go with your doctrine or teaching, but because of that, or, and they even said it's not because of what you did or what you didn't do. They said it's because you didn't accept that, Jesus as your Savior. They're God. So Jesus is a God.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's true.
I can see that.
In that regard. I just said a while ago that he wasn't, but I guess really looking at it from that perspective, because he is worshipped, even to the point where people say he is the Almighty. Well, no, he knew how to channel the Almighty, but he wasn't the only one.
And we can answer the way we do because we have been in both Jehovah's Witnesses cult and the Christianity cult. I look at Christianity now just as a cult as I do the J-dubs, because it is a set of rules that you have to obey, that you cannot,
for the most part.
And that is not the way from the NDEers. Most of these NDEers are coming back saying, love, be kind, God loves everybody, everyone is welcome.
That's right. It's a whole different set of
Right.
mindset and belief and spirit on the other side. So
Right.
Now I like this one right here. I once was Christian, a very serious one. Mm-hmm. At some point, I realized it was not being practiced by most people calling themselves Christian. Hey, that sounds like what we were just saying.
Exactly, yeah.
Blind faith was
Yep.
not for me, so I renounced Christianity, seeking truth that I could prove. Eventually, I became Buddhist. In this, I discovered that Christ has been almost entirely misunderstood,
Yep.
mostly due to charlatans who claim to speak for God. What I've discovered is that Yeshua was really a Buddhist. Eventually, I became Buddhist. In this, I discovered that Christ has been almost entirely misunderstood, mostly due to charlatans who claim to speak for God. What I've discovered is that Yeshua was really a Buddhist. His entire message was love and compassion. Religion corrupts his teachings, and religion also falls far short of what is as it is. Christianity is more like a political business, not coming close to what we need to know, more interested in manipulation. With my death, the obvious truth of love and compassion was discovered, beyond all belief, as obvious as can be, bright beyond anything we can imagine. Comments, Miss Daphne? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, that is gorgeous. And I have heard, or not heard, but I have read in, and we did an episode on this. I think it was the What is Truth episode or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of it. But we covered this through the Nazarene teachings.
Yes. Jesus was a Buddhist.
Yeah, because it said that he traveled to all these different places and learned their ways.
Right. And he taught and lived by the way. He wasn't the way. And the Bible has taken and said when they turned him into a God, they say, well, no, he is the way and the truth and the life. You can't even get to God unless you go through. You see, because they've turned God into a person. Okay. When you personify God, you put God in a box. Okay. Now,
exactly, yeah.
Now that you've got control over that concept of God or that concept of the afterlife, or any of that. Now you have a key to get to that. You see, you can put it in the book now.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and what happens if you don't accept our God? What if you don't worship our man Jesus? What if you don't worship our God? Well, guess what? You're going to burn. You're going to be tortured forever. nothing like what the real Yeshua taught. Nothing like that.
Exactly. And even in that book, he says that man will corrupt his teachings and say things that he did not teach.
Absolutely. And that book is the Gospel of the Nazarenes, in case you guys are wondering, which preceded the Bible, and it's what the Bible was, pretty much stolen and created from, in case you guys are wondering.
Exactly, yeah. And I like the way the guy said that religion corrupts his teachings, and that is so true. It really does, because we're learning through these NDEs that the truth of love and compassion is the point of everything.
When you learn who the real Jesus or the real Yeshua is, I know this is going to sound strange, but you can't help but to even love him even more, and to understand and to comprehend him, even on a level, even beyond the Bible. It's a different level than the Bible. It's not quite that same person,
Yes, and I'm so glad you said that, because looking back now, believing the way I did in the Bible, the God of the Bible, Jesus of the Bible, learning through these NDE experiences what's on the other side, the God and Jesus that I believe in now are greater than the ones of the Bible. So it has totally helped to transform my life to where I live in a way that I love waking up every day. I love sharing messages of hope with others. I mean, sharing these experiences really brings joy to my life. It helps to enlighten others. I have been enlightened through this. My conscience level has raised. And when you're following the way of the God of the Bible and Jesus of the Bible, you're not raising your conscious spiritual self.
You're not. You want to party. You want to do all these things that people are defending and saying, well, no, I get to do all this because Jesus has my back. No. That's not what Jesus taught. He taught you how to live. He taught you how to think, how to eat, how to treat others. Okay. He lived in what was called the way. And the way is an ancient, from way back to the beginning of time, in all religions. Okay. Not just Christianity. And we're going to cover those here in a moment. And it's typically referred to as the golden rule. A lot of you guys have, heard of this in the Bible, but we're going to show you how that's actually taken from many, many different cultures.
Many cultures, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in just a moment. So back to these NDEs. So really the thing that I guess if I had to kind of like zero in on it, is that Christianity per se is a religion, okay? And there are no religions on the other side.
Exactly.
So
religion doesn't carry over.
If you're defending a religion and telling other people that they can't get to God unless they go through your God, that's you don't even have an understanding of reality, you see, because the reality is Jesus, the real Jesus taught, is that we all are God. God is within you. Yeah. The kingdom of God, all things are within you. And this is what he really taught.
Right. And that is a sad mindset to, and I've lived it. And that's why I'm saying what I'm about to say right now. I have lived through different religions, and each one taught, if you didn't believe the way we believe, you're gonna burn in hell, or you're not gonna make it into that promised kingdom. How sad is that for you to place judgment on someone else
just because they
don't believe what you believe?
Yeah.
I mean, and learning these NDEs, you learn that you don't have to be critically judging anybody. Let everybody believe what they want to believe. Through these experiences, if you're on a spiritual path, that's the path you're supposed to be on. That's fine. But learn and grow. Don't just say this is it. Because you can grow and raise your consciousness so much and be enlightened and not have that critical mindset that so many people from different religions have. And that's the beauty in it. With these NDEs, there's no judgment. You're not judging, you're letting everybody love and be who they are.
Right. And once you get to a level of spirituality, you do the same thing. You no longer have to judge others. And
exactly.
You had mentioned the Jehovah's Witnesses earlier, and I know from experience, I was associated with them for a while.
Yes, me as well.
And been so-called claimed to be a Christian all of my life, when the reality is I was nowhere near a Christian, just like today nowhere 99.999% of people in the world are nowhere near what a real Christian is, and
I
they don't
wouldn't even
understand
use the term Christian. I wouldn't claim to identify with that.
Right. Well, see, I don't anymore. I don't
Right.
claim to be any religion per se, because all religions, have a truth in them. Okay, and even the Bible itself has a thread in it, but the Bible has been tampered with.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
but you could still have, golden threads, running through the Bible that teaches you the way,
Right.
how to live and things like that. And that's what Jesus taught us. He taught us the way. He never once claimed to be the way, like they say right there in the book of John. This was tampered with. You guys have to understand that. So we're going to go ahead and if you want to do a final comment, Daphne, I'm looking at the clock now. I'll let you do that, and then we're going to go over the golden rule, and we'll just kind of wrap it up with that.
That sounds good because what we were just talking about, it kind of relates to this one that I'm about to read. Okay, it says, after my NDE, I no longer believe the Bible is an accurate description of the character of God, for lack of a better word. I don't understand it all. I spent the next year after my experience listening to people on TV talk about God, read and pored over the Bible, and the more I learned, well, I just can't see it. I met love. I met 100% pure love. I was fully seen, fully known, and fully loved. The God of the Bible uses punishment to teach. The God that I met uses gentle nudges to help me to love too. There is a lot in the Bible that no longer makes sense to me.
There you go. And if you don't mind, may I comment real quick before I lose my thought here?
Yeah.
It reminds me of an NDE I read here just yesterday, I think it was, how this person had asked God, something on that lines of, the judgment and the punishment, all this and that. He said he laughed at him. He said, I'm in the business to love. I'm not in the business to judge.
Right, which makes sense.
Something on that line right there,
Which really makes sense. If God is pure love, then
He
why
can't
would
judge.
He punish and torture somebody forever for a few mistakes or poor choices?
Or they can't. Like, you hear me saying that he can't.
Yeah,
he can't. It's programming, but
Right.
the spirit, what we all, the source, it can.
Exactly.
These are all human constructs, So looking at the time, let's go ahead and go over the golden rules here. Now,
Yes,
keep this
the
in
golden rule
mind.
from different religions.
Absolutely. Number 1, Buddhism. All right. Hurt not others with that which pains yourself.
Ooh.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is, yeah.
Okay. And we know that Jesus was Buddhist. Okay. He did learn from that. And so we have Christianity that adopted the same saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Okay. It's the same thing. Hinduism, treat others as you would yourself be treated.
All saying the same thing.
Absolutely. Islamic, do unto all men as you would wish to have done unto you. Judaism, what you yourself hate, do to no man. Native American, live in harmony, for we are all related.
I love that one.
That's beautiful, yeah. And the last one, sacred earth, do as you will, as long as you harm no one.
That sounds like some of the stuff from the Nazarene right there.
Yes.
Wow.
So it just goes to show you, these are people who walked in the way.
Exactly.
Jesus is not the way. You've got to understand that, and so you understand that Jesus, God, man, that was created was to control you. It's a big political, religious scheme. And
Business.
I don't want to go there because I don't want people to say, oh, he's the devil, he's demonic, and he's bashing Jesus, and he's going to be burning. No, I'm not. That's not what I'm doing.
We have a higher understanding of who Jesus really is
That's
now,
all it is.
not the one in the Bible.
And I think we should close on this thought here. I think the true purpose of an enlightened soul, not who Christ was, but what Christ is. His name wasn't Jesus Christ. This was an enlightened soul who knew how to get to God. He knew how to get to those altered states, and he knew he was God. And like I've always said, the difference between this person and you, he knows and knew that he was God. We have forgotten that we are God.
Right, and I'm going to read this one right here. I just glanced down, and you know how Spirit directs you, and it ties in beautifully. It so relates to what I know and believe now. And it says, many people realize that there is no religion, nor a God that needs to be worshipped or obeyed.
Think about that.
Exactly.
If there's no God that needs to be worshipped, obeyed, then there sure as heck ain't no man that needs to be worshipped.
Exactly.
And that's even including Jesus, you know. Jesus lived in the way, and he taught us how to live in the way. He taught us how to have the most highest spiritual vibration so that when you go over to the other side, you know, your life review is going to be golden. You know, it's going to be beautiful. How you treat others, you're going to be at a whole different level of vibration.
I'm sorry, I'm still glancing down and seeing these
Well,
things.
we'll do one more. Okay, I know, but we're going to go ahead and do one more and wrap it up.
Yeah, okay. I have always doubted the religious teachings of church. I walked away when I was 20 and never looked back. In my late 20s, I had an NDE. This confirmed my thoughts on religion. It was just made up BS. None of it is true. I stepped over to the other side just long enough to enjoy the experience of peace, love, and bliss. I hated to return and look forward to going back. And that is what we hear from so many of these experiencers. They didn't want to come back to this side. You know, they have released their fear of what happens on the other side. I mean, there's beauty and release of fear in going to that higher level of consciousness, in learning these things.
Right. Well said. And some really good examples. And there, like we said, there was over 130 something responses.
Yeah, and we just touched on just a few of them, and there's so many more. We could probably do 2 or 3 episodes just on this one.
We may bring them back,
post.
because we have a lot of other good questions out there as well. So we'll go ahead and fish them in, and as we catch these really good comments, we'll share them with everyone else. I think people really need to at least have this from a different perspective, so they can open up their minds and hearts and grow spiritually as well.
Exactly. And we're here to enlighten and to help you to become more conscious, aware of the things in this world and the next life.
Absolutely. Well, with that thought in mind, Miss Daphne, Lynn, I guess we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. And as always, we love you guys so much. And may peace be with you all. And as always, remember this: do as you will, as long as you harm no one. We love you all. Until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For information about the NDE World Podcast, visit nde.world. That's nde.world.